So happy Memorial Day weekend. Thank you all for being here with us. I appreciate you coming this morning to start your day here. Good morning to everyone in virtual community. We're blessed by your presence as well as we all come together. And as she's saying, we're here to love one another, right? That's what we're here for. So this month we have been asking, who's running your life? That's been our theme. That's been our question. We started the month with Joe's powerful talk, asking us to align our intentions and our behavior. And then we looked at how to navigate uncertainty. And then last week we asked the question, is faith a choice? Well, today I want to take this topic deeper still. And my message is moving into inner knowing. So you may say, what is inner knowing? What is inner knowing? That's when we ask that question, who's running my life? And we answer, I am. I am. Now, like most of us, I think I'm running my life all the time. But this week, as I worked with this topic, I realized that that's not always exactly accurate because I sometimes get afraid of the future. I get afraid of the future. It's unknown, right? And we can fill in that unknown gap with some pretty wild stories sometimes. And then I also make up stories about myself that are negative, and maybe about other people too. Even when I don't know anything about it, I just make up a story about it. Or maybe you make up stories about circumstances and situations. And then sometimes I worry. I worry. I worry about the economy. I worry about our planet and the world and the environment. I worry about the war and riots and dis-ease and a lot of scary stuff out there, right? I worry about that stuff. So who's running my life then? Well, I still am, but I'm allowing all of the stuff out there and my subconscious beliefs that I may not be aware of to be in the driver's seat, and I'm riding shotgun. Has that ever happened to you? Yeah. The spiritual principle that we're going to look at today is intuition. Intuition. Ernest Holmes is the author of The Science of Mind that we teach, and he defines it this way. He says, intuition is nothing less than spirit in us, silently awaiting our recognition and cooperation. Awaiting our recognition and cooperation. And as I thought about the word cooperation, I realized that what he's talking about is not that idea that I have to cooperate with spirit because spirit's got this idea and I've got to do it this way, right? And I better get into alignment. It's not that sort of cooperation. Anybody been on an airplane? Seen a movie? You had to cooperate with the airline policy, right? Because they broadcast the movie, but they don't broadcast the sign. Your cooperation is to pick up the headset and put it on, right? So you can hear the movie. Otherwise, you just see their mouths move, right? And see the pictures. So that's the type of cooperation. We have to pick up the headset and listen to the divine, listen to that intuition. Now, some of us might not trust our intuition. Well, I tried that once. It didn't work out so good. So I don't have it. I'm defective. I don't have intuition. I didn't get it. I didn't get in that line. We may get an occasional flash, but we'll discount it that that's not intuition. That's something else. It's serendipity or something. It's not intuition. Intuition is not just a gut feeling. It can be, but it's not just that. It's a spiritual faculty. And every one of us is born with it. We come in with it because that's the connection between us and our source. We're all God stuff, right? We're made of that one infinite substance that everything is made from. And we have this connection to it constantly. And we communicate with it through this intuition. I should say it communicates with us through intuition. And sometimes we do notice it in the body first. It may be a feeling in the belly or the heart. It may be an aha moment. We've had those where we suddenly see life differently. We have a realization of something that we didn't know before. It's new to us. Maybe it's something that's out of the blue, unexpected. We didn't see that coming. Maybe it's a billboard or a license plate, or even a stranger answering a question that we've been asking ourselves. And this revelation, this angel before us speaks truth, and it resonates. It's like a bell goes off inside of us that we know that that's true, that that's what we've been looking for. However you experience it, intuition is a spiritual intelligence and wisdom revealing itself through you. So today I want to look at what is intuition, how do we use it, and what it can do for us. Okay? Now, a lot of our lives can seem like we are searching outside of ourselves for answers, for validation, and for direction. We're looking on the internet. We're looking it up. We're going to the doctors. We're talking to our friends. We're asking for advice. A lot of our time is spent with that. But there comes a moment in our lives, I think, when we finally just go, what do I think? What do I think? And we get quiet and we listen to ourselves. We listen to our own inner wisdom. It's a place beyond doubt. It's a place beyond second guessing. And it's a place beyond asking our friends, although our friends are brilliant, right? But it's a place beyond that. So how do we do it? How do we do it? How do we use intuition? How do we tap into it? Well, this is going to come as a big surprise because I know you all have been coming here for a while and you've heard me say things. Meditation. It's our spiritual practice of meditation that allows us to hear our intuition, hear the voice of spirit, relate to, build our relationship with. Meditation allows our nervous system to settle down and to come off of that ledge of high alert that we seem to be functioning on these days because there's so much coming at us. Have you noticed that? I mean, we're constantly on these days. And so meditation is a way that we can be present to life and be present to spirit. Sometimes for me, just the simple act of closing my eyes for a minute and taking a few breaths, I can feel my whole body begin to relax. I feel my shoulders drop. I feel my belly soften and my breathing begin to settle down. I even notice my face relaxes. Y'all want to try that right now? Will you do that with me? All right. Get comfortable in your chair where you're sitting and close your eyes. And then just take a deep breath and hold it just for a nanosecond at the top and then breathe it way, way out. And that felt so good. Let's do that again. Another big breath in and hold it. Blow it out. Oh, and notice your body. Do you feel it relaxing at all? Just breathe normally, letting go, noticing your body. Let's take another slow inhale and exhale. And then open your eyes when you're ready. That few seconds changed your body. Some of us noticed it. Some of us maybe didn't. But at the cellular level, your body changed because that's what meditation does for us. It calms down our nervous system. And when we do this practice, this type of practice on a regular basis, we begin to notice it in all areas of our life, in our physical, our mental, our emotional, and our spiritual lives. because it's a whole body experience. It's a whole body practice that we do. Ernest Holmes says in the very first sentence of The Science of Mind, he says, "We look forward to the day when science and religion shall walk hand in hand through the visible to the invisible." That is what meditation does for us, because science has been studying meditation now for years, and they have proven its benefits. You can read all sorts of articles and studies about the benefits of meditation on the physical body, the scientific reviews. So much so that it is now generally accepted as a healthy living practice. I see it in a lot of different modalities in treatment centers and things where they recommend them take a meditation class, meet with a meditation group, use Tai Chi, use yoga classes. These have all become healing modalities in the allopathic world that originated in the spiritual realm, the spiritual world. Meditation is a core practice for our spiritual growth. It's how we learn about spirit, learn about God, learn about ourselves, and begin to build that communication and that relationship with the divine. It's how we begin to distinguish between intuition and that voice and fear, intuition and ego. Those are different voices. And sometimes people assume the ego or the fear voice is intuition because they're hearing voices in their heads, right? And it doesn't always, not always that case. One of the things for me, intuition is a deep sense of knowing without reason. Without reason. You ever had that where you just know something, you know it's true? There's no empirical data. You can't research it. You can't know it. It's not in a book someplace, but you know. You know it's truth. For me, it's usually affirmative. Anytime someone tells me, my intuition told me I should not do that and I should run and it was horrible and I can't go, I question that because that sounds an awful lot like fear or perhaps ego, but definitely fear. For me, intuition is more of a suggestion, but it resonates at a deep level. An example, many times driving home from the office in the evenings, I'm coming at the juncture where I have to decide if I'm going to stay on Washington or if I'm going to go over to the freeway, the 101 or the 202 to the 101. If you've ever driven that at 5 o'clock in the evening, you know it's quite a mess. But it is the faster route. But sometimes I'll just have pop in my head, take the surface streets today. Now, I used to look at that and go, oh, it must be an accident. I don't want to get in it, right? It's the decompression chamber for me from the office to home. It's a little more scenic. It's a little more calm in the traffic. It's a little easier for me. So by the time I get home, I'm feeling much more relaxed than if I'm fighting all the traffic and stuff on the freeway and the merging and the potential accidents and all the other things that happen out there. So it's more of a gentle nudge that just goes, yeah, that feels good today. That feels good today. And if I don't choose to do it, nothing bad happens. You know, it's not like I'm going against spirit's orders and therefore I'm going to be chastised and bonked on the head and have a flat tire on the freeway. You know, it just doesn't work that way, right? It just doesn't work that way. So it's important for us in our meditation time to learn those voice distinctions so that we know that voice of spirit, that voice of intuition, when it's revealing itself to us, whether it is a voice or whether it's a feeling, that we know the difference. You heard of Florence Scovel Shinn? No? Go Flow. She was around the 1920s, I believe, 30s, and single woman. And she wrote a bunch of books about metaphysics and affirmations and things, and she worked with clients, and she was quite successful with it. But one of her quotations is, "Intuition is a spiritual faculty," again, that word faculty, "and does not explain, but simply points the way." And that's my experience of it. It's not explaining, don't get on the freeway because it's going to be a problem for you if you do that. It's not that kind. It's just saying, this might be a good way to go. Try it. You might like it. Try it. You might like it. So, how do we use our intuition? How can we use it besides just taking a scenic drive home, right? There's got to be better, more inspiring ways to use it. For me, I need to be available to my intuition. I need to be available to it. I need to be present to it and not just making my own decisions all the time and just barreling through life as we are wont to do. So I check in. I check in, especially when I'm making decisions. For me, that's a great time to tap into my intuition. And I recently had, excuse me, the opportunity to do that. I was presented with a financial product to move out of my investment accounts into a different type of investment. And as I listened to the presentation, it was very interesting and it sounded very good. And then it began to sound too good to be true. And I was like, let me take that information home and think about it, which is translated pray on it, right? So I did. And I also did some research, and it still didn't resonate with me. And so I sought the counsel of a friend who used to be in the business, had no vested interest in my decision in this one way or the other, and asked them to look at it. And they did, and they brought up all the, let me reset, they affirmed all the things I believed, which was don't do it. So I got back with my agent and told them that I was not going to move forward with this. And they asked why. And I was frank with them, told them. And they said, thank you for your transparency. And I thought that was a very interesting comment. And I said, well, are most of your clients not forthcoming with you when they don't take your advice about something? And he was like, no, they're not. And I said, well, that's not me. I'll always be transparent with you and let you know what I think. So they've come up with some different avenues and different ideas and things for a more secure based sort of product. But anyway, it was really about trusting my intuition and doing the additional work of checking it out further and realizing that that was not the right decision for me. So that's one of the other ways that I use my intuition is when I have a decision to make, taking that within and asking about that decision. Is this the right way to go? And listening to those answers and taking that action. When we are aware of our intuition and where it shows up for us, whether it's in our mind, whether it's in our heart space, whether it's in that gut area, when we can be aware of that, we can be more tuned in and present to it and utilize it more. And the more we use it, the more we trust it. And the more we trust it, the more we can use it. It's sort of that ongoing circle, right? It just keeps expanding itself. It will guide us in our relationships, in our finances, in our employment, in our health. If you've ever been to a physician and heard information that you kind of went, that doesn't make sense. That's not feeling right to me. That doesn't feel like I think I'll get, again, a second opinion, right? It's important that we check in with ourselves around all of those things in our life, whether it's a financial decision, a medical decision, a relationship decision, or an employment decision. Is it right to take the promotion or is it not? Is it right to leave this job or not? Is it right to retire now or not? Intuition is the revelation of infinite intelligence expressing through us. That's powerful, isn't it? Why wouldn't we tune in and tap into that? When we listen to that quiet inner knowing, It will guide us to any decision. Should I buy these cute shoes or those cute shoes? Now, which one am I going to like better? We can make it as simple or as complex as we want to. The key to success is to get to know it through that meditation practice that we talked about. When we learn to trust and use our intuition, we're one step closer in that new design for our life. That's what we're talking about all year, is designing a life for ourselves. And intuition plays an important role in that because it transcends reason. It transcends what we already know, our current knowledge. Remember Einstein, we'll use him again, Daniel, thank you. Einstein said that we can't solve a problem from the same consciousness that created it. We have to rise above that. And intuition helps us to do that so that we can create this new design for our life. We're not creating from the same thoughts and the same consciousness that we created the current life we're living, right? Intuition also allows us to step out of being at the whim of all the world of effects and the external things. It's this deep sense that, contrary to appearances, everything's okay. Everything is okay. And this is what intuition can do for us. Because when we've got that connection, we intuit that even though it looks a little dicey out there, everything is okay. Everything is okay. Now, will bad things continue to happen? Probably. Can we rise above them in consciousness? Definitely. And can we do more good from that higher awareness? Absolutely we can. Absolutely we can. When we begin to trust and use this spiritual faculty of intuition, along with that comes this deeper sense of peace. Have you heard the phrase, the peace that passes all understanding? We get there. We get to that level of peace when we trust that relationship with the divine, when we trust that communication. We have this deep sense of peace, and we no longer judge by appearances. So how are you tapping into your intuition? Do you check in with yourself when you're facing decisions? Or do you just make the decision and go because that's what we've always done? It's easy to do, isn't it? Because what's driving that? Our ego, right? Our ego is driving that. I can do it. I've got this. I've done it before. But if we stop, we pause, and we back up and we say, let me check in with this. Okay, maybe I can change this up a little bit differently. Maybe I can think a little bit differently. Maybe I can receive higher awareness. When we learn to trust it, it opens the door to wisdom. It opens the door to growth. It opens the door to our greatest yet to be. And that's what we've come here for, isn't it? As we said in our mission, to reveal our spiritual magnificence. That's what we're here to do. That's my job. I see it in you already. It just needs to be revealed through you so you can see it. So that's what we're doing. Our spiritual practices this week are to use meditation. So for beginning meditation, anyone that does not yet have a meditation practice, I have three simple steps for you to get started. And those who have a meditation practice, we're going to talk about deepening your practice. So first, for those just beginning, 3 steps, 3 simple steps. Find a quiet space, focus on your breath, and keep returning to your breath whenever your mind wanders. That's it. Let's look a little more deeply. Finding a quiet space where you won't be disturbed by your own phone, someone else's phone. If you live in a household that has other people in it, let them know you're taking this 5 minutes or so that you're going to be quiet and still. You're doing a practice. Excuse me. Sit comfortably and upright. Sometimes people want to lay down when they meditate. And for beginners, I suggest you do not lay down because that's telling your body, go to sleep. And we don't want to go to sleep in meditation. So set up and stay alert yet at ease and relaxed. And then begin with just 3 minutes. 3 minutes. Set your timer on your phone for 3 minutes. And it's much better to meditate for 3 minutes and do it consistently and stay with it than to try to meditate for an hour, get frustrated, and never try it again. So the consistency of practice is really what makes the difference. Once you've established your routine, increase your time a little bit. Go up to 5 minutes. Once that gets comfortable in your routine, bump it again, 8 minutes, 10 minutes, until you get up to 20 or 30 minutes every day. This creates a sustainable practice for you. Focus on your breath. Close your eyes and pay attention to just the natural cycle of your breathing. You're not trying to control it. You're just paying attention to how you're breathing. And there's a technique you can use. It's the counting method. And you count one breath is in and out. So 1 on the exhale. 2 is the inhale. Exhale 2. Exhale 3, 4, and 5. So you count on the exhale. So you count to 5 and then you start over and count to 5 again. And if your mind wanders in the middle of that 5 count, just come back to 1 and start counting 1 through 5 again. You're not starting over, you're just starting at 1 again. And don't beat yourself up because you caught your mind wandering. You gently brought it back without judgment, and you just begin to count again. It's a practice. Your mind will wander, so I will warn you of that because that's what our minds do, right? Your minds have wandered off 100 times in here this morning. Some of it I could see, some of it I couldn't. No big deal. It's what our minds do. They wander away. Meditation is a focused practice that will help you bring it back. And the most important thing is to be patient with yourself. It's not a quick fix. Your significant benefits will be seen in a few weeks of practice. So monitor what you do each day, how long you've meditated, any reflection that you may have about it, but keep doing it. Try to put together 30 days of that 3-minute practice. And if you're ready to expand it inside that 30 days, great. Keep expanding your time. But do try to practice consistently every day for 30 days. Now, for those who are my meditators in the room, I know some of you are, your practice is to deepen what you're doing. Integrate your meditation into your daily life. I know as an experienced meditator that life can get in the way sometimes, and we skip a practice here and there, or we shortcut it, or we've got a project that we're working on that we just don't do it. So I'm going to invite you all to establish 30 days. Make a commitment to meditate every day for 30 days. And then I want you to practice mindfulness every day. And one of the simplest ways, if you've not done that before, is to use that for a meal. Pick one meal a day and eat mindfully. This means placing your plate on the table. No TV, no phones, no mahjong, no nothing. You're just having food. And you pick up your fork and you take one bite, you set your fork down, and you mindfully chew each and every morsel, noticing the texture, the flavor, swallowing, how it feel it going down the esophagus and into the stomach, and then feeling that. Can I sense anything there? And when it's completely gone, pick up your fork and take one more bite. Set your fork down and do the same process. Budget a little extra time for this meal because it takes longer to eat that way. But you will find it is a very focused, meditative, mindful practice to eat that way. So I encourage you to try that. If you remember the Zen parable or proverb, before enlightenment, I chopped wood and carried water. After enlightenment, I chop wood and carry water. We will live the same. We just live more mindfully. And it turns out that psychology backs up this Zen quote. With repetitive physical activities like sweeping, vacuuming, and cleaning, they are regulating for the nervous system because they're predictable, structured, and give a clear sense of completion. So there you have it. Your daily meditation practice is one of the most important things that we can do for ourselves, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. We will expand into longer sessions. You'll go from that 3 minutes and you'll get to 20 or 30 minutes. And when you do that, you're going to move beyond the surface level thinking and you're going to move into that deeper awareness, and more gets revealed to you. And as our practice matures, we become more curious about what's happening. And we become more consistent, and we are more reflective minded. And you'll notice this in your day, not just in the meditation time, but during the day also. This week, I invite you to pick up the headset and to move into inner knowing. And so it is. And today, I'm going to open the microphone if anybody has any questions or comments, because we're talking about a couple things that I know everybody likes to talk about, and that's meditation and intuition. And meditation, particularly for most people, start out and they're like, oh, it's hard. Monkey mind, chatter, chatter, chatter. My mind won't shut up. I just can't do it. It's too hard. Have you ever done Pilates or yoga? Did you get it the first day? No, right? Meditation is a practice. It's the same thing. So we have to give it some time. That's why we start with the 3 minutes to get us started so that we can begin to build those muscles, right? Begin to build those muscles. So is there any questions about meditation? Any of you experienced meditators that want to share anything from your experience or how intuition maybe has shown up in your life? All right, very good. I'll leave this up here, Jim. All right, would you join me in a prayer this morning? As we honor this day of remembrance, we reflect on our own deeper call to live consciously, courageously, and aligned with our higher self and that which is greater than we are, which we recognize as the all. It is spirit and source and presence. It's universal energy. It's God. It's all that is. It is infinite love. It is wholeness. It is the universe and the stars. And it's you and it's me. For we are all one, united in this one source and substance of all that is. And as we are created in the likeness and image of that substance and source, in the image of spirit, we have access to that creative nature, that creativity, to that love, to the peace and the wholeness. And so I know as we are united in this now, in this moment, those of us in the room, those online, and anyone listening to this later, for we know there's no separation whatsoever of time or space. I just speak my word for and about all of us. As we come together in this prayer, prayerfully minded in recognition of that one, and that it is our source, and that it is available to us at all times to commune with, to communicate with, to feel, sense, experience, to hear as our intuition, as our higher self, as our higher wisdom. These are all just words. What really matters is the relationship that we feel inside of us with that which is love and divine and all that is holy. And how blessed we are to have this connection, to be able to build it every day, and to be able to access it any time that we need, to communicate with it, and to be communicated with. I know for anyone that has anything on their heart this morning as they lift it into this prayer, that we include them in our love and enfold them in our peace and wrap them in our blessings. And know that whatever their prayer is, it is made manifest here and now. And I bless Scottsdale Center for Spiritual Living, knowing that it is and remains a divine idea in the mind of God, and that it is a beacon of light in this area and our planet for all who seek, whether they find and walk into our facility here or whether they join us in our online community. We know that our message is received, and we know that they are connected in the one with us. And I bless all faith traditions today, knowing that there are many ways to the divine and that all are blessed. And special words of blessing on our service personnel, all of those who serve and their families. And it is with a grateful heart filled with joy, gratitude, and thanksgiving that I release this prayer into the action and activity of law, knowing that it is done. And we affirm this truth together by saying, and so it is.